I'm so nervous about clapping.
Understandable.
You might shatter your own fingers. You don't want to bust up your phalanges.
No, I need those for many, many reasons.
Yeah, like, I don't know, stroking your other phalanges with your phalanges. The teacher had to ban me from saying phalanges for a solid week.
That does not surprise me.
I got so much detention. Hello and welcome to episode 121 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Whip. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Drumbly Bumbly. Say hello.
Hello-ily, blow-ily? No,
Do you want to try that again?
Yeah, let's go again.
Or you want me to start from the beginning?
No. Hi.
Another stellar opening to this podcast.
Yeah. Drummer Matt's very good at that.
Yeah.
I tried to kind of rhyme with Drumbly Bumbly, but I just couldn't.
I mean, no one asked you to, so it's okay.
It's fine.
Moving swiftly on.
I'm okay, thank you very much. How have you been, Wibblette? Just a little bit.
I am okay. I mean, I have had either the exact wrong amount of sleep, or I guess it's I've had exactly too much or not enough sleep, and I'm not sure which.
You know what? Time will tell. We'll find out at the duration of this podcast.
Yeah, the upshot is that every part of my body and soul feels like it's been hit with a tiny hammer, so that's good.
Ooh. Yeah.
Although that might
just
be
like one part of it, or just everywhere?
like everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Although that might be because what I spent earlier doing, which I'll get to later. It is weird.
Is it to do with your phalanges?
It is not. No, it is not. Matt, how have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm alright.
All is well.
I like it how like you say "I'm all right" so many times, like you're trying to convince yourself.
Yeah, right.
I've been there. I've been there. I've been doing that today. Today's been a bit of a rough one, but that's okay. Anyway, we don't really have any general news. So Wibblette,
Hi.
what you been up to?
Stuff and things.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
So some quick little extra bits to stuff that I mentioned before. I have finished that run through of New Vegas I was talking about.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I was originally going to side with the NCR, but then at the last minute I went wildcard because the NCR asked me to murder one too many groups of people.
That if somebody's like trying to be my friend and then they're like, "Hey, could you go murder a group of people?" I'm like,
I mean, granted, I did partially do it to myself because, like,
you do. That's what really
that's
hurts.
what really hurt. Because like I couldn't do, like I could like basically to advance in the NCR storyline, I had to murder the Great Khans.
That sounds pretty fun. Or is this bad?
It's probably not ideal.
Okay.
Because if because of my policy with that character of killing any Legion character I see on site, I'd block myself off from being able to like make peace with them.
Oh heck.
And
Well, you wouldn't have made peace with them anyway, because you would have just got to the peacemaking table, or and then just punched them. So
the Great Khans aren't the Legion.
Oh, okay.
Not everyone you disagree with is part of the Legion.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a similar kind of thing happen with the Brotherhood of Steel, except with the Brotherhood of Steel, it was because it was my second playthrough, so I was just picking some options that I didn't pick the first time just to see what happens. And I picked the option that meant that I couldn't make peace with the NCR, and the NCR were like, well, if you want to progress, then you've got to murder all of the Brotherhood. And I'm like, I mean, I literally am a member of the Brotherhood of Steel.
And you're like married to one.
And yeah, the main companion I run around with is a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, even if she has left them for being dickheads. So yeah, it was like, okay, and it was just like I don't want to kill yet another faction.
It's just a lot of effort.
It's just a lot, and I can't be bothered with it. Fuck it, and then I just went with the ending I always go with. So yeah, I mean, I have done all the main endings. I have done them before, but I just hadn't like followed the full game through following that path. So effectively, I did all the bits I hadn't seen before, and then right at the end, when I had seen it from that point, then did a different thing. So it's fine. It's fine. And yeah, having completed Dead Money does indeed suck a fat one. It is a very frustrating DLC to play. I know everyone is concerned about this DLC for a game that came out like, I don't know, 10 fucking years ago.
Okay, so like, you'd be fucking surprised. You really would be surprised.
I also, I'm carrying on watching Robot Wars as well, because that's just what I do with my time nowadays. I'm at the semi-finals of Season 6 right now.
How many seasons are there? Like the televised seasons?
Of the original run, there's 7.
Oh, shit!
I don't know if I can watch the reboot series anywhere that isn't the BBC iPlayer, which I presume has it, but also requires that you have a TV license, which we do not have.
I still can't get over fucking TV licenses.
Yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, having fun with that. I may make a video about it at some point, because I just want to talk about Robot Wars. And as we found out with the last podcast, from an SEO term perspective, Robot Wars vastly more popular than the Wurzels.
I mean, that's quite a contentious opinion.
I don't think so. I'm willing to say that is backed up by fact and rigorous testing. Of that we named 2 podcasts, one after Robot Wars and one after the Wurzels, and the Robot Wars one did vastly better.
I think maybe that's an outlier, because let's be honest, it's like the mods and the rockers. You're one or the other. You're a Wurzels fan or you're a Robot Wars fan.
I don't know.
They have been clashing for years.
I don't know. I think the overlap of people who are Robot Wars fans and Wurzel fans is much bigger than you think.
But smaller than you'd hope.
True.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Speaking I would love to see the Wurzels enter Robot Wars with a little thing called Combine Harvester.
That would be amazing.
How cool would that be? And it's just an actual Combine Harvester that just fucking threshes all of the other robots. And they're like, but how did you get that in here? No, this is against the rules.
That's bigger than the arena.
And they're like, yeah, I'm a cider drinker or whatever.
Yeah. But speaking
I love
vaguely
making very topical references.
Yes, but speaking of vaguely disappointing things, I also watched the X-Men movies that I had previously missed.
Which
is Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, because I completely forgot they came out.
Oh shit, yeah. I think I might have seen the first of those 2.
And I don't really have a whole lot to say about them, because they are movies in which, per movie, there is like 3 or 4 kind of cool scenes or things in them. But as like a whole, are just kind of eh.
I honestly say they're just like young adult action movies.
Yeah, I suppose. In fairness, they're very similar to the old X-Men movies in that regard.
Yeah, and when I was a young adult, I fucking loved the original X-Men movies. Especially for the scene in X-Men 2 where Wolverine is just like, well, time to murder everybody in this fucking mansion.
There is a scene like that.
That was really cool.
There is a scene like that in one of the 2 movies. I forget fucking which. Because they're both... Because I watched them...
You did watch them back to back.
Yeah, I watched them back to back, so they kind of melded into one. But there's a whole bit where Hugh Jackman as Wolverine appears and just murders a bunch of people. It feels like it's just going to be a quick little Easter egg cameo thing, and then goes on for like 5 minutes. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things. Like, they kind of do a more realistic version of Genosha, and like,
for those who don't know, would you like to explain Genosha?
Genosha's a place that was made in the comics for mutants to go live. Didn't Magneto form it?
Yeah. There's a lot of history with Genosha.
And very bad things happen at Genosha all the time.
Yeah, like Cassandra Nova, Xavier's like twin sister, who he like murdered in the womb, is actually alive, and she like basically makes a pact with Emma Frost because she knows that Genosha's gonna get wiped the fuck out, forcing a psychic secondary mutation, which is where she gets her diamond ability from. I'm glad they don't put this shit in the movies because it's fucking insane.
Yeah, in this they never name it. They never name it Genosha, but it's basically just a fucking hippie commune on an island. That is just full of mutants, which I actually really like that interpretation of it. It's not got these outrageously high-tech towers and everything. It's like literally just that half of them are living in like refurbished shipping containers and shit.
Cool. It's like an anarchist commune of mutants.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool,
and Magneto's kind of leading it. There is a bit in its Apocalypse in which Magneto, they give him like a family, and then instantly through his wife and child get shot with a single arrow from a bow, and it goes through both of them, instantly killing them both.
Is it a bow and arrow or is it a crossbow?
It's a bow and arrow.
Okay, who the fuck is firing that?
Some mook.
Okay.
They have a bow and arrow because they were bringing things that didn't have metal in them because they knew, because they found out that this random guy, he's actually Magneto.
Okay, but I'm assuming that Magneto married. There's like a woman who could literally turn herself two-dimensional.
No, that is not the case.
It's just that guy he's just jacked as fuck.
He just, his daughter has like the power to control animals.
Cool.
And when her father is being arrested, she summons birds and it makes people panic and the arrow goes off and it goes through the daughter who is being held by the mother and then goes through both of them, instantly killing them both, and then Magneto uses a pendant that was on his wife to just go through and murder everybody.
Cool.
And then screams at the sky, "Is this all I'm supposed to be?"
I mean, do you mean the sky? Do you mean the writers?
The writers lost all sense of subtlety.
I know authors that use subtlety and they're cowards.
It's one of the most shockingly badly written things I've seen in a movie in a long time, and considering what I'm going to speak about after this, that says something. There is some fun parts in it, like the bit with Quicksilver, great.
Oh, Quicksilver's great. Yeah, I've seen the entire scene, and it is just so thoroughly entertaining.
The way he zoom, very good.
He do big zoomies, very good.
Quicksilver always comes across really well on like these films and things.
Yeah,
just the sort of slow-mo effects and that you can do and things. It just always looks cool.
Yeah, there's also like with Dark Phoenix, I was surprised that they got so kind of close to the more comic booky version of the Phoenix, because I thought we were going to get another X3, where they just had to make their own kind of version of it so that they could fit the story into a movie.
Is it the Phoenix Force in that movie?
More or less.
Okay, because what my favorite parts about X-Men 3, with Hugh Jackman, Famke Jensen, and Patrick Stewart and all them, is that it's literally just, oh shit, yeah, we're bringing in mutant categories. Oh, and also, I decided, like Jean has a multiple personality disorder and is evil and looks weird when she's evil.
Yeah.
Also, fuck you, Logan.
I will say one thing. The best line in any of them, in any of these two X-Men movies I watched, is in Apocalypse, when Apocalypse, along with weirdly movie-accurate, comic book-accurate Psylocke...
Love Betsy.
Her costume anyway. Bizarrely comic book-accurate, like, considering how these movies, handle that kind of stuff. But appears with, like, fucking Apocalypse and...
Archangel
and Storm. Mohawk Storm's in it.
Love Mohawk Storm.
And then appears behind Magneto as he's about to, like, kill, like, the people that dobbed in him and thus got his family killed.
Oh, yeah, because he works, like, a metalworks in Poland or something.
Yeah, and he's about to, like, kill them all, and then this portal opens up behind him, and he turns around and he just goes, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, Apocalypse,
it's
which
a
was
fair question.
which was very funny.
My favourite part was when you paused it and was like, there's an after credits scene where there's like vans coming in and they're labelled like Essex Corp. Does that mean anything to you, seeing as you're the X-Men person of the house? And I just started laughing at him because we just got done talking about the character that's referencing and how much Wib fucking hates him. And I turned around and I was like, yeah, Nathaniel Essex is the most used alias of Mr. Sinister.
I was like, I fucking hate
You
Mr.
literally
Sinister.
just went, he just literally shouted, "For fuck's sake." Which made me laugh harder.
I don't know why. Whenever,
Mr. Sinister.
every time he appeared in a comic, I just cannot remember anything. Like, I remember him appearing, like, his reveal panel, and then after that, it's just a blank.
Do you remember
to
that
me.
big reveal panel where it's like, yes, it was me all along, but also I'm Miss Sinister now. So now the artist can draw me with honking mommy milkers.
Only in so much as that I remember the reveal panel and nothing more, because that is Mr. Sinister to me.
That's fair.
He is a character that I remember the reveal panel of, and then afterwards, I don't remember what his powers are. I don't remember what his agenda is. He just... There's something
He's
about...
Mr. Sinister.
There's something about him that is just the opposite of memorable to me. Just my mind slides off him. Maybe he's a very fun character. Once you understand him.
No,
but...
not really.
Okay.
Mr. Sinister is literally like, if somebody tried to make an over-the-top, silly comic book character villain.
Is he from the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like the main antagonist in the first series of the X-Men cartoon.
And that's why I don't remember that.
First episode, he kills Morph.
Was that fucking Mr. Sinister?
That was Mr. Sinister. Yeah, that was Mr. Sinister. And then he puts a bug in his brain so he can
kills
control
Morph.
him.
The little orange plasticine
Morph?
dude. The orange plasticine dude.
No, not the plot. No, Morph was basically the new dude they put in the first episode so that they could so he could die and all the X-Men get sad about it.
Yeah.
He was literally just dead meat. Huh. They just chucked him on in there, and then he works for Mr. Sinister, and they're all like, "No!" It was pretty fun, like seeing him re-enter the X-Mansion, disguised as different X-Men, and trick Gambit into making out with Rogue, so she accidentally blows up a coffee table and he passes out. And
cool.
Then everyone's sitting there going, "What the fuck? You said you wanted to make out with me in the rec room," and she's like, "I did no such thing. I bumped into Wolverine," and very fun. Okay, I'm gonna stop raving about that.
Yeah, because I've now got a topic that is listed down in my notes simply as all caps Snyder.
Right then, where do you want to begin?
So, as many people will be aware, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League has been released.
Yes.
And I have watched it.
It's 4 hours.
It is 4 hours long. I am just going to preface this section by saying it does not need to be 4 hours long. That movie could be, even with all the extra stuff, could be brought down to 3 hours for a start, because the entire last half an hour of it is entirely fucking self-indulgent fucking faff.
Is that the dream sequence?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Is that the longest film that's... Is there a record for longest film? That's
it's
one film?
French art house movies.
Oh,
are incredibly
yeah.
long, and a lot of Bollywood movies are very, very long.
Yeah, this is standard for this is a short Bollywood movie.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual. It is unusual for the West though, because if I remember rightly, it's something to do with once a movie gets over 3 hours long, it makes it harder for cinemas to put on enough showings a night for them to consider it worth it. So
the
that's
Snyder
why
Cut was so hyped up by just weirdos on the internet who, I guess, I don't know what they wanted from it, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so if have either of you seen the original theatrical cut of Justice League?
No.
Okay, so
Like, literally, like a nearly naked Jason Momoa walking around wet most of the time, that couldn't even lure me in. I'm sorry.
he does spend quite a bit of the movie shirtless.
Yeah,
it has to be said.
and even that didn't sell me.
Yeah, no. So the original cut of the movie, I watched it and I was like, well, I mean, I did this ages ago. I think I did speak about it on the podcast, but to sum up my entire feelings about the original movie, it was like, well, I mean, it's better than Batman vs Superman, but that is a very low bar because that movie is terrible. So it's fine. I basically, after I watched it, I just didn't think about that movie again. This is what if that movie, but 4 hours long. It's remarkable that considering that most of the footage you're seeing is new footage, it still is fundamentally the same thing, just with things added and things taken away.
I have one very important question.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to watch this movie until, like, I woke up today and you were like, yeah, don't. It's not the train wreck you were hoping it would be, because I was sold on the trailer with fucking Jared Leto, fucking superstar piece of shit person, basically turning around and saying, we live in a fucking society, which was so fucking funny, and honestly, that made me want to see the movie. Because it was said completely po-faced, and please tell me that scene is worth it.
That scene, that line is not in the final movie. We have to wait for the Snyder Cut of the Snyder Cut to see.
Are you fucking serious? Is he doing a Snyder Cut of the Snyder Cut?
There is going to be another version of the movie. You know what
he is? He's doing EA DLC.
You know, the best part is that the version of the movie that may end up in...
It's a fucking bait and switch.
The version of the movie that may end up in is going to be in black and white. This movie would look like absolute arse in black and white. One of the big reasons is that Superman's costume, it changes colour, and you wouldn't be able to tell if it was in black and white. Because he wears... spoilers, but Superman fucking dies at the end of Batman vs Superman.
He dies, like, all the fucking time.
And he's brought back during this movie. And in the original cut, he comes back with his regular ass suit. And in this version, this Snyder Cut, he comes back in the black suit.
You see, now I'm just remembering a Naruto fanfic I read earlier that was about Naruto deciding to crucify himself because he was, like, the second coming of Jesus, because he wanted all the ninja, like, village sins to die with him, and then he rose in 3 days.
I mean, that is not a million miles away from the Snyder Cut, considering that every character has a fawning introduction where they are made out to be functionally Jesus.
Great.
This movie would be... If you were watching it with friends and you made like a drinking game out of it, I think you could make something quite fun out of it. Like if you like say anytime the movie goes into slow motion, because by the way that's the reason why it's 4 hours long, because there's so much fucking slow motion in it. If you took a drink every time it went into slow motion, and if you had to like finish your glass anytime that it went into slow motion whilst a sad song plays.
Please tell me it doesn't have, like, Mad World in it or some shit.
I don't think so.
If it had Mad World in it, I will literally walk to Snyder's house and tell him off.
The song it ends on is Hallelujah, because...
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know that song that I was first introduced to by the movie Shrek. So
I think a lot of people probably...
So it doesn't... It hits a bit differently to me. It's either Shrek or Shrek 2. I forget. I've not thought about Shrek in about 10 years.
Yeah, no, I can't even be asked to partake in the jokey meme thing of Shrek is life and love, because it's so fucking uninteresting.
But yeah...
Sorry, haters.
It's... There's like lots of little moments, like it gives a lot more backstory to both the Flash and Cyborg, which is good, because those characters are very underdeveloped in the original cut of the movie. But, like, it doesn't... the fact that, like I say, it doesn't need to be 4 hours long. That's the big thing. There's so much you could cut out of it. There's lots of scenes where
played things in like full speed.
Yeah, if everything was, if not as much was slow motion, if a lot of things weren't like didn't go on for so long, you could cut this down. Like, you know, as someone who does video editing, I was watching it and going like, you could end this scene now. You could end this scene now. You could end this scene now. It was ridiculous. Like, the weird Zack Snyderiness does shine through because if people aren't aware, Zack Snyder is a big fan of fucking Ayn Rand's fucking objectivist fucking bollocks.
Yeah, we don't stan.
And that does seep through to his work in lots of quite sinister ways.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah, it's a shit philosophy for twats.
Fair.
But like overall, it's the same movie, but more of it. The big kind of changes that happen, you know, the more backstory, which is mostly kind of positive. But you also have like increased depth to the villains, but it doesn't go anywhere. And it just builds up a big bad for a sequel that is unlikely to ever happen because this isn't the continuity that they went with for the main line stuff. So it's setting shit up for stuff that won't happen. And it's like, okay. And the main villain of the thing, because even though the big bad is Doomsday, not fucking Doomsday, it's Darkseid.
But it's spelled differently, so it's really cool. And this is me, a comic book fan, saying that.
Yeah, and he's technically the big bad, but he's not actually particularly relevant. Because the real villain is a character called Steppenwolf, who was the most boring villain.
The band?
Yes, literally the band.
Hey, don't talk shit about Steppenwolf. They had some groovy jams.
Yeah. And he was perhaps the most boring villain in a comic book movie.
But he's really spiky.
He wasn't in his original version. In his original version, he had a different design, and he was very, very boring and had basically no motivation beyond his villain who wants to make a big thing happen in the sky, like every villain in a superhero movie.
Yeah, really.
And in this version, they give him some more backstory, make his design much worse and much more annoying to look at, because he's now just covered in lots of reflective spikes.
Yeah.
You know, that thing that is hard to do in CGI because making all the reflections look right is difficult.
It's like, come talk to me when you've got T2 level effects. Ooh.
It just looks bad and messy. It's bizarre. And yeah, they give him a little bit more to do and a little bit more like backstory, but like it's really unnecessarily like confusing and convoluted. Like, they want Earth because it's just a planet to conquer, but it's also super special, but they didn't know it was as super special, but they should totally know it's super special because Darkseid had literally been here and knew it was super special, but apparently just forgot.
Well, I mean, fair.
Because Earth... I don't even want to go into it. It's, you know when you're about to say something that's a spoiler and the reason you don't say it isn't because it's a spoiler, it's because it's so fucking stupid that you don't want it to leave your mouth.
Jesus.
It's too comic book to talk about.
Let's be honest, comic book storylines barely work in comic books.
Yeah, they introduce
again, I'm a big comic book fan.
They introduce a bunch of like cameos, like Martian Manhunter's in it, but he does fucking nothing. And
what was it you was telling me that he just pops in and goes, "Hey Bruce," and then just fucking leaves?
Hey Bruce, I'm the Martian Manhunter, yeah, and then fucks off.
Fucks off. It's like, okay. How did you get in here? Bye. Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, for the first 3.5 hours of the movie are just... If you have not watched the original theatrical cut since it was first around, and you watch this, you would probably sit there and go, so I know they added the cyborg stuff, there's that scene with the Flash, and that's kind of like mostly alright, but for the rest of it, I'm not 100% sure what was changed, apart from Batman's black suit, and that it doesn't have the terrible...
You mean Superman's black suit?
Oh, Superman's black suit.
Spoilers, by the way. Batman has a black suit in this movie.
I have been awake for about
An hour. Yeah, I
Give me a
know.
break. Apart from the black suit and the Flash and Cyborg stuff, you would be hard pressed to know what has actually been changed. Because a lot of it just it's hitting the same points, just maybe not in the same order, and it doesn't have Henry Cavill's CGI'd out mustache, which I feel is a net loss.
Oh.
Because that was hilarious.
Yeah, I suppose.
But the real big addition is the epilogue to it, which, because Zack Snyder is very pretentious, the movie does have like parts in it that are like labeled, and it does have a thing at the end where it says epilogue, and you're like, "Thank you, Zack. I have seen movies."
So if not
before.
much else has changed up until this point, is this where the majority of the 70 million that they spent on this new cut
Jesus fucking
Presumably.
Christ. Do you have any fucking idea how many Squishmallows I could buy with that amount of fucking money?
I was watching it and going like, if this feels so similar, this is such a waste
Maybe
of
it's
human endeavor.
It might be like a producer's kind of thing where he's just like, oh yeah, I need to reshoot it all, and then he's just like, it literally got to like a month away from the deadline, and he was like, fuck, I'll add an epilogue.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So the movie ends 4 times.
Is that more or less than Lord of the Rings? I'm trying to remember.
Around the same as the book. So basically, there's like the ending, which ends sort of broadly where the original theatrical cut ends. Then they have a kind of where the movie has like a speech about what it thinks it's about. And whilst you see the heroes afterwards having a montage of like them kind of, everything getting back to normal afterwards. And then that ends with Superman, going into an alley, revealing, pulling open
Giving
his...
us a Barra titty shot.
Oh, yeah, ripping open his shirt and showing off the black Superman suit. That's ending 2. Then Lex Luthor escapes from Arkham. Spoilers, by the way, but don't watch this. And then you have a whole fucking...
Who knows, you might really like it.
You have a cameo from a fucking random-ass character. And then there's an ending there. And then there's the final ending, which is the dream sequence which has the scene with the Joker in it. And then there's a Martian Manhunter cameo. And then that's ending number 4. It's just... it sort of like builds up, and you get to ending number 1, and you go, okay, like it had some extra stuff, fine, 3.5 hours long, but like, okay, it added a bunch of stuff, fine. It was technically a bit more of a coherent tone-wise movie, fine. And then it just keeps going for an extra half an hour. It just keeps fucking going, and it's just so self-indulgent. Although it does contain one scene that I've been telling everyone about, and not offering the context for because it makes me laugh, which is where, to a swell of triumphant music and to an inspiring speech, Cyborg heroically drops his trousers in front of his parents' grave.
Like a damn hero. I don't know about y'all, but if I found my parents' graves, I'd probably drop trousers as well.
I mean, your experiences are not universal.
I'm glad they are.
It's very good that they are not. Yeah, that happens. The one final thing I want to mention about this is that it is interesting to see things that got added and taken away, and some things that stayed. Like, a lot of people assumed that the Flash's quippy dialogue was all noted shithead Joss Whedon's work, because it has the thumbprints of his quippy dialogue all over it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it turned out to actually be in this final cut anyway. So that's interesting. Although they did cut out the Flash scene that I really liked, which is there is a bit where they're about to take on Steppenwolf, like as a team for the first time, and the Flash can't. He's like, I can't do this because he's just a dude.
He's just a dude who runs fast.
Yeah, he's like dealt with. From what I understand, he's like dealt with like shoplifters and shit before this. He's not like dealt with a supervillain. So and he's like, I can't do this. And Batman takes him aside and basically says, look, you get all the hostages in there and you get them out and you get them safe. Basically saying you can still be a hero without doing the big punch.
Which I think is actually really cool.
Which is a nice way, and it basically, you know, it lets, you know, kind of the character be a little bit more green about this stuff as it builds up. And it's like, that was a nice scene. I actually liked the thing there. Again, because sometimes you can see the visible stitches where the two cuts of the original of the movie kind of got put together in the theatrical cut. There is a bit of that there, but I still liked it. That's gone. But it does retain the best part of the whole movie, which is a scene where the Flash is running up to Superman as he's just been regenerated and he's fighting everyone. And he's like holding off both Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And the Flash is running up behind him to like try and take him out from behind.
Turbo speed.
In like the slow motion way that they show his super speed. And for the first time ever, like, you know, the Flash is looking at him and then Superman just then looks at the Flash, like in super speed because he's the one person who can keep up with the Flash.
Honestly, that, like, credit where credit's due, that sounds fucking awesome.
It's really
cool. That sounds
cool.
really creepy.
You can watch.
Like, that would actually give me
Yeah.
it actually gave me a little bubble of spoopy in my tum-tum.
Because
when you told me, I was like, oh.
Because, like, you know,
Creepy.
he could just punch the Flash's head off. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal
He
to
could
him.
just glare at him and melt his fucking eyes out of his skull.
Yeah. But yeah, so, you know, some parts added, some parts taken away, but overall the basic plot stays the same. It's just you get a little bit more motivation on parts of the villains and a little bit more motivation on the parts of some of the heroes. It's technically a little more coherent, but if you watch the original cut and went, wow, this movie's kind of mediocre, it's fine, it's not terrible, but I have never felt the need to watch it again. I can't say that watching the Snyder Cut will bring any joy to your life. It is a longer version of a mediocre movie.
But on the plus side, it made good use of your second monitor.
It did, because yes, the movie...
I have a shitty second monitor that's stuck in 4:3.
The movie, for reasons that are utterly ridiculous, was released in 4:3 resolution. And if you don't know what that is, that's
it's
the
old as fuck resolution.
That's the resolution your TV was in 1995. The almost square resolution. It was been released like that because it was designed to work on IMAX screens. But considering that we are in the middle of a pandemic, Zack, who's going to ever see it in IMAX? 99% of the people who watch this are going to watch it on their TVs or on their monitors, which, unless they happen to have an old one around, is not going to be 4:3. It's going to be 16:9 or something similar. So it's just really weird. And I don't know why, because the footage wasn't shot in 4:3. Well, actually, maybe it was, but they cut it down.
Who knows? Because
obviously the original version of Justice League was at standard resolution. So, yeah, it's a weird one. It was a novel thing to watch a big budget movie, like a big CGI heavy thing, in 4:3, but I don't know why. It was a thing. Also, the CGI is bad and terrible, but if you've seen the original movie, you know that.
Yeah.
Just because they like to do CGI of things that are hard to CGI, like so many of the characters are like chrome. You've got both Cyborg and Steppenwolf, both of which are shiny silver characters, and they like to put them in moody scenes where having good lighting on them would matter, and they picked the hardest material to light. And it looks bad. And their designs are bad anyway. A fucking Doom Darkseid looks like, as many people joked, his CGI is kind of shoddy and looks like he's from the cover of a mid-2000s graphics card.
Oh, Christ.
And he's, I don't know. It's one of those movies that I can understand someone being very fascinated by, like me, and wanting to talk about it. But like once I finish talking about it now, I will probably then excise it from my brain and not want to talk about it ever again, because it's such a non-entity, and I can't help but think of the colossal waste of human time and experience that is wanting to get another version of this movie made and then having this be it. I don't know. It's something about it that has just struck me as just upsetting.
I feel it might have struck a nerve with you. That's just me, just putting my feelers out. I have no basis for this.
But in a way that I don't care about it. Like, I don't care about
You aggressively don't give a shit.
But I am upset that large groups of people, like, a new movie could have been made with all these resources. A new movie, not the same movie again, but longer. I don't know. It's very weird to me.
Longer and taller.
Longer and taller.
Or maybe
wider.
Longer and narrower.
Maybe.
That's the long and narrow of it.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to now stop thinking about Justice League for the rest of my life.
Good.
So
Can I just say, I've been sat here waiting to say Born to be Wild at some point, but it just didn't quite ever line up to make that joke land. So, just, I just wanted to say it.
Okay.
You can move on now.
Perfect.
Okay, excellent.
You absolute dingus, man. Oh my god.
Snipe,
Yeah.
my dear, my darling, what have you been up to?
Well, I watched a horror movie.
Shit.
That's me waiting for everyone to get over their gasping.
I'm glad that I just finished taking a sip of tea and swallowed it, because otherwise I would have spat it all over the monitor.
Yeah. So I watched The Woman in Black.
That's a Daniel Radcliffe thing, isn't it?
It's a Danny Radcliffe. Hey, that sounds so wrong. Danny Radcliffe.
Danny Radcliffe. Yeah, I can't even
I said
say
Radcliffe.
it. Yeah, no, I can't
Yeah.
even say it properly because it's so weird.
You see, I'd call him like Rado.
Danny Rado.
Danny Rado.
I hate this.
I know.
I hate this.
Do you hate this more or less than the Snyder Cut?
I hate it more because I don't feel things about a lot of the Snyder Cut.
Okay, wow.
God, I really did spend 4 hours of my life watching that.
A long time.
That is too much time.
It is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Anyway, The Woman in Black is...
Was that 4 hours long?
It was not.
Good.
It was like an hour and a half, comfortable length, as far as I remember.
See, Zack, you can't tell movies in that length of time.
Okay,
Fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to ask you to put a fucking plug in it, because Jesus Christ, I'm starting to be concerned that this is gonna turn into a fucking anti-Snyder cast kind of thing.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not, because I literally woke up this morning and you got in bed and just said everything you just said, but for 4 hours.
I did not speak for the length of the Snyder Cut. Nothing is as long as the Snyder Cut. Even things that are objectively longer are not as long as the Snyder Cut. But
And
carry
definitely
on.
nothing that you can do in bed.
I mean, you can... Okay, I can't personally sleep for more than 4 hours because I'm really just shit at sleeping. But okay. You know what? No, there is one thing I can do in bed that lasts at least 4 hours. Eat hot chip and lie.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a crossword puzzle. But yeah, anyway, Woman in Black, it's like a period horror kind of thing about a guy who goes to sort out this old fucking house that some old spinster died in, and he's got to sort out all the stuff, and it's like a big spooky fucking house that can only be accessed through certain times of the day because of the tide. It's one of those. So, there's a lot of I can't come back and see you in the morning because that's when the tide's in and blah, that kind of thing. And it, honestly, it was fine. It didn't really frighten me or, there's a few jump scares, but, it was very kind of, Because, I mean, to sum it up in a sentence, it's... children, bad things happen to children for an hour and a half. It's there's, because the Woman in Black is this malevolent spirit that, like, makes kids hurt themselves or kill themselves in horrible ways. Like, one of the, it opens up with, like, 3 girls just playing in, like, their attic, and then they all kind of just go, like, you know, they get, like, that blank look on their face, and they just all jump out the window and die.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, you know what? You've got my attention. That very attention-grabbing. There's, like, a little girl who eats a bunch of, like, lye or something. Like, she eats this fucking poison. This really horrible poison. And then she basically, like...
Did she eat hot chip as well?
She ate hot chip and lied. And the woman in black was like, ooh, you don't get to do that. Not for 4 hours, young lady. Time to force feed you poison. And then she, like, spews blood all over, like, Daniel Radcliffe. And then everyone in the town is like, you're upsetting the lady. And then she's killing our kids. And yeah, it's... Honestly... I don't dislike the movie. It's a perfectly serviceable, spoopy movie. But I do think, like, I did build it up in my head for a lot of time, because I remember when it came out, and I was like, oh, I can't watch that. I'd be terrified.
You have, in the last handful of years, gone from not really being able to deal with horror movies to watching horror movies for fun all the time, and watching the ones that, you know, are considered to be quite scary and full of jump scares, or like ones that are supposed to be, you know, you draw the line at, like, the
I'm not going to watch, like, a
gross
Hostel
stuff,
or a Human Centipede. I'm not going to watch anything like that, or, like, Cannibal Holocaust, because it's just... I'm not a gorehound, and I don't like gross out shit.
Yeah.
Which is why I struggle with a good handful of 80s horror movies, because there was a lot of fluids in those. Like, Evil Dead 1, I can't watch. For multiple fucking reasons.
Yeah. How do you feel about wet puppets?
See, I don't mind... No, like, Drum and Matt, they used to spray, like, puppets with, like lube, so they looked, like, kind of sweaty and more realistic, and it just made them all look very... gross, which, you know, I mean, hey, it fucking worked.
Yeah.
I can tolerate, like, damp puppets. Like the, oh, fuck, what's her name? The woman, the Annie from Evil Dead 2, like, her mum.
Yeah.
Like, she's got the big long head and the eye popped out and stuff.
Okay, because I was wondering how you'd feel about From Beyond, because that's like peak wet puppets.
Okay, so... Evil Dead 2, that's kind of... It looks like a weird Muppet. Like, you know, Evil Ed, it's obviously a fucking mask. You know, it's fine, I can deal with that stuff. The Thing, cannot fucking deal with those. Absolutely not deal with
From Beyond
that level of, like...
From Beyond is kind of like The Thing, but horny, so...
What are you talking about? The thing was oozing with raw sexual energy.
Okay, it's The Thing, but horny and lit like a leftist YouTube video.
So it's a thought slime video. But yeah, no. It was perfectly serviceable. I give it a out of 10. Speaking of perfectly serviceable, JK, it's not perfectly serviceable. I have been watching The X-Files seasons 8 and 9. The ones that's got Robert Patrick, aka the T-1000. I do keep referring to him as the T-1000. Whenever I talk to you, I'm like, Jesus Christ, the T-1000 just did this, just said this to Scully, and you're like,
you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I just accepted that is how you're going to refer to this character. I do not remember.
His name is John Doggett, and he's from New York.
I don't know if I watched these later seasons.
Not many people did, because, like, the status quo is fucked up, because Mulder basically disappears at the end of season 7.
And, like, do they still do the Monster of the Week stuff?
They do occasionally, but they do lean a lot more heavy on, like, the overarching, like, alien kind of story, which involves super soldiers and baby super soldiers. It's very stupid.
Because And
Mulder's like, he's referred to off screen. It's like, oh, Mulder's in hiding because the super soldier alien government secrets are trying to kill him. And he sends, like, Scully an email at an internet cafe, because we're in, like, 2003 or whatever. And she sends one back that is like, lady, you are not in a Victorian fucking, like, you're not in a Jane Austen novel. She's like, dearest Mulder, like, eternally yours, Dana. And it's like, I fear that I will never see you again. It's like, I'm sorry, what?
Whereas now you just send a DM to someone saying shit's fucked.
Shit's fucked, or like a fucking like butt pic or something. I don't know. I don't know how you fucking communicate with people. I've been in quarantine for 2 fucking years. Anyway,
Mulder's like, that's very good, but send feet pics.
it's like, haha, send me feet pics, JK Dana, unless. Also, like, Mulder appeared, like, because I think they were like, they put him in the intro, like, the introduction movie? The intro sequence? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Where just at the very end, it's just David fucking Duchovny just looks like he got yeeted off Nakatomi Plaza, just like, "Ah!" And then it's just, the truth is out there.
Good.
And yeah, and it's like, it has changed where Scully now is like, she's the one who's like, it's definitely aliens T-1000, and he's like, bro, what?
I mean, I guess it had to happen after, like, so many seasons of Scully literally seeing aliens.
Well, no, she's literally being abducted by aliens. She's literally met and talked to them, and then she's like, well, Mulder, I still think you're full of shit, because this is the dynamic the show's aiming for. But yeah, they introduce a couple of new agents, which is Monica Reyes, which she's cool, but she is like she's like the super spiritual one. Like, the first time you meet her, oh god, what was it? And she's like, this is definitely a Native American cryptid. And you're like, Monica!
God, now it's just feeling like a
Really?
modern creepypasta. It's definitely a skinwalker.
If I see one more fucking, like, white person from fucking Connecticut being like, so I went to this Native American area and there was a cat that made me scared. It was a skinwalker. And it's like, no, Betsy, it was not a skinwalker. Fuck off. Pisses me off. But yeah, and like, they do the Monster of the Week things, but it's a bit like, I don't know, I think it's just because I'm looking back through a lens, because I did watch through basically every season up to 7 before, like a good 5 years ago. And I just kind of stopped at season 8 because I'm like, yeah, Mulder's not in this anymore. He's referred to, and they're like, the overarching story is, we need to find Mulder. And literally, that's like Scully's trigger word. If you say Mulder, she just turns into a fucking bloodhound and will just act wildly irrationally.
She becomes activated.
Yeah. But speaking of Mulder and just the Monster of the Week kind of things.
Oh, before you move on, can I just say a fun fact that I've just learned?
Yes.
So, this the character of Doggett, played by the T-1000.
Yes, Robert Patrick, the T-1000.
The T-1000. More than 100 actors auditioned for that role. Only 10 were seriously considered, one of which was Bruce Campbell.
That would not have fucking worked.
Oh
my Christ.
Right?
But I really want to look into, peer into the bizarro
The alternate
version.
universe where it's like...
Yeah.
Where he's like, hey, Sarah, call the John. Call the John now. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, now
That has ruined my life. Thanks, Matt.
Finally, a good use for deep fakes. We can make this be a thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Robert Patrick at that age, he was very skinny. And I don't think Bruce Campbell, because he's quite a broad guy.
I mean, his chin is wider than most people.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
True.
And instead of poking Sarah Connor through the shoulder with his finger, it's his chin that gets bigger and turns into a knife.
We're not saying that
Hang on,
every
wait.
work of fiction that Robert Patrick has starred in is now going to be Bruce Campbell. That's not what this bizarro world rules are.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he becomes Robert Patrick becomes everything Bruce Campbell was in? So he's widely known as being Ash from
Yes.
Evil Dead now.
Yes. I want to look into that alternate dimension.
And was in fucking Hercules and Xena.
Honestly, he's probably, him playing Autolycus was probably the main inspiration for my D&D character, Nathan.
100%.
Just they look nearly
Yeah,
identical
they
as
do.
well.
They very much do.
I had such a weird crush on him when I was younger, which makes it super weird. But yeah, anyway.
Anyway,
Lucy
do
Lawless
continue.
Yeah, Lucy Lawless is also in this series. She's a super soldier lady who can breathe underwater and likes getting naked and dragging people into sewage like reclamation plants and drowning them. Which is interesting.
Denise Crosby is as well, isn't she?
Denise Crosby.
Tasha Yar from The Next Generation.
Yes, she's in it. She's like a lab tech that Scully hangs out with. But yes, this specific episode I would like to talk about has one of the best lines by anyone in the entirety of the series of X-Files, including the movies and the video games, ever.
Especially the video games.
Especially the video games. Weird Resident Evil knockoffs.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is the episode where they find Mulder, like the alien males have just like dumped him in the middle of a fucking desert and like, lol, see you, bish. And then they pick him up along with another guy who they find in the water, and he's like incredibly bloated because, you know, he's been swimming in the fucking ocean for God knows how long. And it's like the middle of the night, and they call up this like the coroner, and he comes in and he's like looking over this guy's dead body, which is again very bloated because it's been submerged in water for a good while. His skin is all fucked up. It's gross. And he pulls the cover off and he looks the guy up and down, and he says, and I wrote this down, "But for a certain enviable post-mortem intumescence, this man is unremarkable." Now, what that intumescence is swelling. And then the guy's looking at this dead person's dick as he's saying that. So he's like, yeah, apart from this massive swollen dick...
Apart from his honking chode, he's unremarkable.
Apart from that fucking, like, meat candle that requires a girth certificate, this man is unremarkable. And then covers him back up. And I was just like... I literally stopped and I asked my phone what intumescence meant, and I literally just fucking took off my glasses and rubbed my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't fucking deal with this. I just love the idea of, you know, you die and a coroner immediately assesses your genitals. And it's like, okay, great. But yeah, and then it turns out that, like, oh, they put this guy and Mulder on life support, which is actually opposite day, and it's killing them. So they take it away and then they're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah,
Cool.
that is fine. They're fine. But yeah, it's been a weird ride. And I'm kind of like watching them now just out of sheer morbid curiosity.
I understand that. I understand that a lot. I do remember, like, when because I don't know how far I got through the X-Files, but I remember I got to a certain point watching it, and I was just skipping, like, the story-heavy episodes.
They're the worst.
Because,
the Monster of the Week ones are the best. I love those episodes because they're so weird.
And it's weird, like, it does seem to be a thing that over time, I think now because everyone has seen where the mystery goes and they know it's not, the destination is not
Spoiler alert, aliens.
Yeah, they
know. You know for, like, the entirety of the fucking seasons, all of them.
That they know that the end point is not worth the journey. That nowadays, nearly everyone I speak to about it is like, I prefer the Monster of the Week stuff, like, because that is, like, self-contained. They're fun episodes. They can be spooky. Sometimes they're
silly.
Funny.
Yeah.
You know, they're just, you know, interesting. Whereas the overarching story stuff is just like, eh.
It's just, oh yeah, aliens are just being shitheads at people. Woo, that's fun.
Yeah, and this seems to be a pretty consistent opinion I've encountered these days. Because I remember we did a podcast about an episode of the X-Files.
Men with Funny Heads, starring Wib and Longfang. They talk about sci-fi, and it's very good, and everyone should go listen to it. Available on all good podcasting services.
We've actually just come back after a big winter break.
Yeah.
And did an episode about Space 1999, because of course we fucking did.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we talked about it on there, lots of people were saying, like, yeah, no, like, I do still, like, even if they still like the storyline stuff, they just...
This is the thing, I'm kind of pretty disinterested in the storyline stuff, but I keep watching it because it's like, they did just randomly decide that the T-1000 and Reyes have, like, some tension going on. It's like one episode is just like, suddenly they're kind of crushing on each other, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
What? There's two straight cis people. They must have chemistry.
Yeah.
They are the opposite sex. So
I mean,
they must have chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, from season 8, from when Doggett, the T-1000, is, like, basically assigned as Scully's new partner, because Mulder's often whoop-de-fuck, it's like, I do kind of feel that he kind of respects her, and I do think, like, the way I perceive the character is that he does start kind of having feelings for her, but he's like, oh, I'm never going to act on that, and I'm going to be respectful and professional, because she's obviously, like, head over heels in love with Mulder. So he's, like, never going to push that boundary. And I think, I like that kind of dynamic. It's interesting, and it's an incredibly cold and adult way to, like, very mature way to look at it. It's like, well, it's fun to have a crush. Oh, well, I guess I'll just not feel these feelings. But yeah, and honestly, like, you know, the T-1000 does a good job. Like, his character's fun, he plays it well. But yeah.
Good old Bob Pat.
Good old Bobby Patto.
Too far.
Patty.
Too far.
Patty. But yeah, no, I'm going to keep watching it because I want to know if any other coroner, like, gives an incredibly overly magniloquent description of somebody's post-mortem genitals.
I think that might be the peak. I don't think you're going to get as strong as that again.
I think that should be the title of this podcast. Magniloquent descriptions of dead people's genitals. I'd click on that. Then we can see who, like, if Robot Wars, the Wurzels, or dead people's junk is more popular.
Okay, what was the title again? Let me write that down.
Magniloquent descriptions of dead people's genitals. I think it's even funnier now that I've had to sit there and say and dictate it to you so you can write it down.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's more organic that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced or weird or anything.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
no.
Absolutely
I mean,
amazing. Love it.
I mean, I'll be intrigued to see how the algorithm deals with that.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
cool.
But yeah, no, so I'm going to keep watching that. Yeah. I have been watching The Clone Wars with Longfang.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and I'm going to be like, I feel I can share my honest-to-God opinions on this podcast. And
Okay.
this might be controversial, but I think Clone Wars is really good.
It is a quite good television show.
Yeah, and also I would like to say I am genuinely shocked at the amount of wanton slaughter in this fucking children's CGI cartoon.
Oh. How far through are you?
I just got to the one where a bunch of where Cody and Rex are introduced.
So still within season 1.
Yeah, so I haven't
Not
watched
very
much
far
of
through.
it. Yeah.
Okay, you to say you have not
like
seen
there's-
anything yet.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, Gungan chunks. Fucking
I've heard
Gungans
of
get
that.
chunked.
But like, there's a fucking episode where like there's a ship that gets fucking torn to pieces, full of clones, and the Jedi Council are like, Anakin, don't go and help and look for survivors. And he's like, okay, and then turns off the thing and immediately like U-turns and goes to look for survivors because he's just that boy.
Because Clone Wars Anakin is
actually a character, and I like him.
Is a much more well-rounded character than
Yeah.
movie Anakin.
Definitely. And there's like escape pods, which are like little spheres with glass kind of windows, and they're all kind of like the clones are hanging out, the ones that have survived. And these droids just have like a fucking like escape pod cracker, and then it's like, yeah, it smashes the window and they all suffocate and die, and I'm like, I'm watching clones die. This is so... And the thing is, they don't go, oh no, like, we lost people. They go, no, they're dead. They literally, like, oh yeah, no, they, like, the droids killed those clones, or, yeah, no, they're dead. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like one episode I've just finished watching, there's one of the clone troopers has to detonate a bomb in person because the remote detonator isn't working, and just fucking dies.
Oh, you got to that episode.
Yeah, but this is like also beforehand, they're fucking, like, the person in charge of them was fighting off droids and got like clipped in like the shoulder and fell backwards onto his back on the stairs, while two like fucking like commando droids just stand over his prone body and fucking empty a clip into him. Yep. I was like, this is a kid's show.
Do you want to know what makes it even more fun?
What?
Because the several parts of the show are out of continuity order for reasons that I will never understand.
Yeah.
A little while later, you'll get an origin story for the characters you just saw die.
Oh.
So, you didn't care enough. Okay, now you're going to love them, and then we're going to kill them.
Honestly, it is a very, very interesting experience.
Yeah.
I am enjoying it quite a lot, so yeah, I need to watch more.
Like I will say, you are currently in the weakest point of the show as well.
That's good. That's good news. Also, General Grievous is a tantrumy little bish.
I love the version of General Grievous from the Clone Wars.
He is such a bish.
He's such a cowardly little shit weasel. I love him. He's great.
Yeah.
They really make they basically because in the so there is the Clone Wars and there is Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. Clone Wars is the animated series that was like traditionally animated.
I did not like the style of that. I was talking to Longfang about it, and it really does feel like those designs translate way better into 3D than they do 2D.
Well,
in my personal opinion.
I always forget his name, but it's the guy behind like Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack. It was the same guy, behind it. And those were like little 10-minute episodes that were just kind of quick little things. And the version of General Grievous in that was an absolute murder machine.
Oh.
And that meant that when he appears in Revenge of the Sith and
gets immediately junked
and is kind of a bit shit, it feels somewhat incongruous. There are canonical reasons, I know, but they're bad.
Yeah.
Also,
literally, the episode I've just seen, they keep trying to artificially not have Anakin in the same room as Grievous.
Yeah, because they can't.
Because they can't.
Because they didn't meet until the movie.
And then, like, I literally told the computer to fuck off when I was watching it because General Grievous jumps out and is like, hello there. Like, to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I was like, get fucked. That's awesome, and I hate you.
But yeah, Grievous in the Clone Wars, the CG animated thing, they make him basically be a character.
He's such a snivelling little shit.
Yeah, he is a strong fighter, but he basically is allergic to fighting fair and runs away all the time.
He's a little shit. Yeah.
He's a little shit, and like that version of him is it fits with his movie interpretation way better than the unstoppable murder machine that's in the original animated series.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because, I mean, I've always liked his design anyway. And the whole concept of, like, no, I collect lightsabers, and I've got 4 arms, so fuck you.
Yeah. I like his feet.
He can also hold things with his feet.
His hair's like angry bird feet, and I like it.
But yeah, he's cool.
But no, I've been enjoying that. And one last thing I want to talk about is a horror podcast I've been listening to.
A horror podcast, you say?
A horror podcast. Mirrors.
Mirrors are pretty scary.
I honestly... No, shut up.
I look in it, and the thing that looks back at me, not a fan.
Self-deprecating humor, although you might think it's funny, has a negative impact on yourself and others.
Okay. As long as you remember, I get to remind you
it's
of what you just said.
It's only cool when I say it!
The next time you say something really mean about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
you know what? I'm going to try and be better and be kinder to myself. But yes. Mirrors is...
That's a sentence.
Shut up!
No,
You're picking at me.
No, I'm not picking at you. I'm picking up at just because of the nature of like it being the title of it. It makes it into a mess.
Yeah, well...
That's not you. That's just how the English language works.
Oh, who's that guy? What chapter's he a part of? Ah, yes, he's an emperor's children.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh. Anyway, Mirrors is a podcast where it predominantly focuses on 3 people in 3 different time periods. A woman during the 70s, a lady during 2018s, and a lady in the future. I can't remember exactly when she's, like, actually supposed to be, like, what year she's living in, but it's, like, a good, like, 40 or so years after or something. And it kind of starts off with, like, the woman in the 70s is an English lady living in America. She's got a PhD in physics, which a woman in the 70s that's pretty badass. And she keeps like seeing these weird shadow creatures, and like you kind of start learning that the women recording these like logs, they can all see these things, and they all kind of like try and communicate with them in any way that they can, and like, you know, they all have kind of similar experiences. They're like these big humanoid looking things, and like the more you look at them, the more like you they look like. Which is, and then they see, like, they theorize that they communicate by cracking like and like flexing their incredibly long fingers, and they're not like aggressive or nasty. They're quite fearsome. So like, you know, obviously the characters are initially quite afraid of them, and like, you know, it's really well done. And I do like the way the future is portrayed, because it's basically like the main character, the main character of that time zone. She's talking to basically an AI, like a therapy AI, because she's been sent by the company.
The company.
It's basically this uber capitalism. Like,
I think you're gonna say it's basically Uber Eats.
Well, I mean, and like, because she's offline, because she's in this site alone, and like cameras and internet stuff don't work. She's like every time it's her segment, it comes up with like this really like shit-eating AI going, "Hi Z, I'm your personal like, you know, it's like, I'm offline at the moment, but remember, you are unique and special." It's like, you are special and valuable. And it's like, you know, it's like, well, today I've exercised mindfulness, and I would give myself 10 out of 10 on completing my goals because I've done the company It's very kind of like, this is what fucking people want to hear at job interviews, and it's fucking psychopathic.
This really sounds like what would happen if Charlie Brooker wrote an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, and honestly, it's really good. I'm really into it, and like, you kind of in the initial part, you're like, okay, how do these people? Why are these three people like relevant to each other? What is their connect? And it slowly kind of goes, and it's very intriguing. It's very cool. Got some funny parts, of course. There's like a part where the 2018 lady, Sierra, she is, because her partner can only see the shadow people when she's touching Sierra.
Okay.
So they're like trying to communicate, like, you know, writing on like an iPad, like Sierra, and then pointing to herself, and they're like one of them like writes in dust. It just this nonsense, insane script, and then points at itself. And they're like, well, we've got a way to go.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And I like, you know, and like later on there's like, you know, there's a person who's even older, and it's like all their stuff is like written down in letters to their brother. And it's like, yeah, no, this is really interesting. So, I mean, nothing like super duper spooky has happened, but it is kind of quite eerie.
Yeah, and is it just called Mirrors?
Mirrors, yeah.
Okay.
Although you've made me paranoid now.
No, I'm just wondering, because that sounds like that might be something that might be a little awkward to find.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, because I like Old Gods of Appalachia and stuff like that, it does come up, like, listeners to this also listen to, like, Mirrors, or there's, like, 13 is one I've been listening to, which is pretty decent, and, you know, like, stuff like that. So.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can very much recommend Mirrors. It's very good, and that's all I've been up to.
Okay.
Drumbly Bumbly.
Yes.
What have you been up to, my friend?
Note. I've got nothing. I can't even pretend to make up something. I've got
okay.
You can't even pretend to make up something.
I mean, we've been watching more Buffy, and it's been fine. We've been watching more, what to call it, Harley Quinn, and that's really good still. But nothing new to add to either of those things. We have started watching a new series, but I don't want to talk about that until we finish it, because I don't quite know what I think about it yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah, I'm afraid I've got absolutely nothing. But we've got quite a few questions, so...
Okie dokie.
We can go into the questions, and I can pad out my section with them.
Okay.
Cool. We're now having, if it's going to be, extremely long questions, it's the Snyder Cut of questions.
Wow. No, because like the people who are asking us questions are like, cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, what's that email address, Drumbly Bumbly?
The drummermat at Snipe and... No, damn it! God damn it! The drummermat at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Oh God!
honey.
How did it make it more complicated by having a simpler email address than we used to?
Right.
Yeah. We do occasionally get emails to both of them because I'm like, can't remember which one's the right one or some, various things like that.
It's the less stupid one that's the right one now.
Yeah, the marginally less stupid one.
Slightly less stupid. Yeah.
Okay, Brad, just a quickie.
Hello. Oh.
Have you guys... yeah, that's what I thought. Have you guys ever thought about covering some of the more popular third-party stuff for 40k? So they specifically like the Bell of Lost Souls Macarian Crusade supplement, which I know nothing about.
A Makari is in Gazcool's like little buddy.
No.
We do have ample like material to work with, like first party stuff, and also like doing reviews on a lot of third party stuff does feel a bit.
Fan stuff is fan stuff, and you don't want to turn too harsh an eye to it.
Yeah, you can't judge fan stuff at the same level as like official Games Workshop stuff, and yeah, because not only do you get it for free, it's usually like maybe one or two people, and it just doesn't feel. Like, I wouldn't be super duper comfortable criticizing it, especially in the same kind of regard that we can criticize or, like, playfully poke fun at, like, mainline GW stuff, so... Yeah.
I try to make my life contain as least Bell of Lost Souls as possible.
Wow. I mean, it's true, but you really shouldn't say it.
Because it's... Oh my god, why are all those sites terrible?
Because you're a fucking weirdo outlier.
No, they're just bad.
Okay.
They are just bad.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Hans the Dragon.
Hello, Hans.
Sneaked in a fuck, marry, kill type question.
Okay.
And I'm accepting it for now.
For now. We will not be making a habit of this.
No. The Chaos Gods have caught you and declared you must choose who you give a handshake, give a hug, or have a fight with. The catch being, you may have noticed that's 3 things with 4 gods. The catch being the god that you don't choose for one of those things claims your soul.
Okay.
So it's kind of a 4-way question, really, rather than 3.
Okay, so it's either handshake, hug, or fight.
Fight.
And then...
The other one
remaining one
soul.
gets your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to touch Nurgle. I don't want to... I think he's probably one of my favourite of the Chaos Gods. But I'm not going to touch him because he'll give me every disease ever and think that he's doing me a solid.
Yeah.
Which is admirable, but I don't know if I have like the heart to tell him that no, I don't want syphilis in my eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm probably going to fight Nurgle in like an underwater suit.
Like a long stick.
With a very long fucking stick.
Fighting with a fucking lance.
Yeah. Just
halberd.
Just fucking like hawk fucking oranges at him. Just huck fucking oranges at him. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Then I think I'd give a handshake to Slaanesh.
Okay.
Because I do not want them hugging me. For different reasons.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd hug Khorne.
Yeah, Khorne needs a hug.
He needs a hug. I'd give him a big cuddle. And then I guess Sinch would take my soul because no one can really pin down what they do. So I'll be fine.
It
just means I'm a smug fuck on YouTube every now and again.
If your soul
more so.
is going to be claimed by one of the Chaos Gods, that's probably That might be the
least damaging.
The least damaging.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I'd be intrigued. I'd be intrigued. Maybe not for me. Maybe I'd offer someone else's soul to them. I don't know.
Wow, dude, that's fucked.
Like Slaanesh, like excess and stuff. Like, but if it's got your soul like for eternity, how does that escalate with it still being excess? Because after a certain amount of time, any excess becomes norm. So it does keep having to escalate.
Have
forever.
you just fucking like out. Like, you've just math hammered your soul.
I mean,
I hate you.
The concept of people needing to go more extreme to satisfy that excessive edge is kind of the entire theme of Slaanesh.
Yeah, but like forever.
Yeah, you would.
It's like you can only escalate so far, but before you're like, well, I'm gonna exterminate this planet so I can snort its ashes and fuck myself in the ass with a rock from it or something.
I mean, that is.
Yeah, I mean it's a theme.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, but then where the fuck do you go from there? I'm gonna use a black hole as a glory hole. Like, okay, great. Now your dick literally, like, is the event horizon.
Yeah, but you have to, like, excess doesn't necessarily just mean, like, sex and drugs.
No,
it could also
it could mean cake.
It could also mean, extreme loving of cake, or...
Which, you know what? I'm already fucking there.
Collecting every single variant of a Pokemon card.
Oh my god, Drummer Matt is Slaaneshi as fuck because he has a completionist kink. I forgot the word for, habit and just threw in the word kink there.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with my selection.
Like, I'm Slaaneshi. Oh, how does the excess manifest? I do every side mission in a Ubisoft sandbox game. Every single one of them. I collect every feather in Assassin's Creed.
Too far.
Every feather in every game.
Yep, every feather in every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm... Oh, go on, you go first, Web.
I don't know. I have not slept enough / slept too much to be able to process that kind of question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no shit.
Fair enough. All right, well, I'm sticking with hug for corn because that's just the best answer.
Yeah, you need to give him a big cuddle.
Let's give my soul to Slaanesh because I feel like I've committed to that now.
Yeah, because you're just going to be like rubbing yourself sensually in brown sauce for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, that can never help.
Insinuating that you aren't currently doing that. But...
Well, exactly, yeah.
What's cleaning up the audio for these podcasts is a nightmare. It's just slopping around all the time.
It's just like Drummer Matt slosh, yes. It's like, never mind.
And then, I don't know, handshake or fight with. Yeah, I guess, suited up and long stick to fight Nurgle, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Well, no, they didn't specify... Okay, so Hans didn't specify how we fight him, so maybe it's like we play, like... Warhammer, yeah. Or like you on Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Okay.
We'll play Werewolf on Tabletop Simulator and see how it goes.
Excellent.
Yeah, just the two of you playing werewolf.
Yeah, and I'll win. It doesn't say I have to win. And if I lose, like, what's going to happen? He's probably just going to go, good game, I like playing with you. Do you want to play another game? And I'll be like, yeah, Nurgle, let's go.
Just don't touch my models.
No.
Please don't touch my
Don't.
models.
Fair.
Not enough varnish exists in the world.
Okay, next up. Oh, similar question to the third-party stuff, but slightly different. This is from Discipline is the Discipline of Fools.
Hello, Discipline is the Discipline of Fools.
Me and my cousin mostly play 40k against each other, so we often homebrew stuff. My question is, what's your favourite 40k homebrew rule? And if you guys have never used any, what rule would you change in 40k?
I'd remove the fucking awful terrain rules in 9th. I hate them.
Yeah, they're pretty
I hate
shit.
them so
They
much.
are pretty shit.
They're just too much.
There's never been like particularly satisfying terrain rules.
They're either too much or not enough.
Yeah, I don't know how
There's no
you
middle ground.
improve them, but they've not been right yet.
I don't think I have played a full game. We've not played many full games in 9th for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But like every time I've just like looked at the terrain rules for 9th, I'm like, I don't want to have fucking data cards for my terrain as well. Piss off.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
too much. I don't like it. Maybe you love it. That's fair. I do not. But I've never really used homebrew stuff ever.
No, I mean, apart from like very, very mild kind of like, oh, if you roll a die and it goes off the table, you have to re-roll it. Like,
I mean,
that's just...
that should be a universal truth with
It should be,
everyone
but
in every game.
It's not, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that's
Honestly,
more of a house rule than a homebrew.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah.
But I agree with terrain rules. They are fucking shocking and bad.
Yeah, sorry, there's not more of an elaborate answer
yeah,
there.
sorry.
That's all right. Next up, Sepulcrave Groan, the 76th Earl of Gormenghast. podcast.
I'm gonna call you Earl. Hi,
Mr.
Earl.
First, a question of great importance, specifically addressed to Snipe.
Oh.
Which would be your preferred animal companion for fluffy friendship and riding into the thick of battle, or just riding down to the shops? A mighty bear or a great wolf? You can only pick one.
Well, I'm already friends with Longfang, and he's a big old bear that I could ride to the shops. So yeah, big wolf.
yeah, fair enough.
That's not even a joke. It's just like, yeah.
Was the winter break for Memory Fully Hedged because he was hibernating?
Yes.
Let's go with that, yes.
It's because he was hibernating because I was like, Longfang, take me to McDonald's. And he was like, no.
Time to hibernate.
Time to hibernate. Heavy sigh, time to hibernate.
If I sleep for 4 months, this problem will go away.
Joke's on you, motherfucker.
Underestimating Snipe's persistence.
Very much so.
I am irritatingly persistent, except for when I'm not. I get bored very easily, but if someone expects me to get bored easily, I don't. No.
Yeah.
Secondly, I've just got to stretch my phalanges and really dig in.
Secondly, related to that slight tangent, genuinely related to that slight tangent,
what
is a question for the group. I warned you of this one earlier. How much of Snipe's unique contribution to the podcast is a result of her personality, and how much of it comes from the fact that they apparently never get more than 3 hours sleep? Or are those two things kind of just linked?
That is such a fucking read!
This is just what Snipe is like.
Yeah, I'm just like this.
Yeah, sleep doesn't necessarily make much difference.
I mean, I might be a little bit more hyper if I haven't had enough sleep. But no, this is basically me all the time. But I don't know if, like,
and it's great, and that sounds sarcastic, but it genuinely isn't.
And that's... Wait. I'm sorry, it's like, I heard that as like, oh, and, and it's great. I mean, I didn't mean to be sarcastic because it genuinely isn't, and I thought you were saying it's genuinely not great.
No, it genuinely is great. It's just hard to say that without sounding really sarcastic about it.
Yeah. Also, I was laughing too hard for the end of that person's question, so could you repeat it?
Oh.
So apparently I get no more than 3 hours sleep, and then I zoned out on the question.
Or are those two things linked? So the lack of sleep is because of your personality. They're the same thing, basically.
No, I'm just like this. I don't know why, but I am, and it's honestly like, if I didn't make it for YouTube, then there would have been literally no fucking hope for me in the world.
We are, I would say that we are, one of the things that unifies us as a couple is that we both have a fucking appalling relationship with sleep and always have.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like sleeping because it means I can't be looking at cool stuff on the internet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, I remember literally having like a jokey argument with you, and you were like, go to bed, you're falling asleep. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I was looking at like cute dogs on Instagram, and my phone fell out of my hand because I fell asleep on the couch, and my hand stayed in the exact same position, like I was still scrolling. And Wib woke me up laughing at this, and then I got grumpy at him. Because I was like, no, I'm not tired. And you were like, honey, for fuck's sake.
Oh, you sit there and you go, no, I just closed my eyes for a few minutes. I'm like, no, I looked around half an hour ago, and that's when you fell asleep.
You're like a traffic warden, but for me sleeping. Like, you come up and you put chalk on my fucking, like, I don't know. What's a human equivalent of tires? Feet?
Feet, presumably.
Feet! Yeah, he comes up and chalks my legs.
I guess shoes, maybe.
Shoes. Oh, yeah, because I guess car feet would be like the bare kind of like, rims.
Personally, I interpret cars as always being barefoot, so that's just the soles of their feet.
So they're like horses, then? Where you get like a farrier to come in, but they're like a mechanic to like rotate your...
No, the equivalent would be if you have like snow tires that have like chains on them put on. That would be like shoeing a horse.
Or when you see like the F1 cars and they're trying to keep the wheels warm and they've got like the coats on.
Yeah.
That's like when you put a
Yeah.
horse in a coat.
No, because they put them on because they don't want their feet to get cold.
Yeah.
I know, it's really cute.
That's like the booties that you put on dogs when you live in a cold area.
Yeah, you give them like a little jacket and little booties.
And then they can't walk properly.
Yes.
And then, no, they choose not to walk properly because they're being melodramatic little shits about it.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
like, I saw someone put a husky in booties and they started screaming like a man. Just, like it was visceral, guttural man screaming coming out of that dog. And it's like, mate, you literally just have booties on. What is fucking wrong with you? I have been told I am quite similar to a husky as well. Mainly because every time I'm forced to wear shoes, I start screaming. Yeah.
It is the screaming.
Okay, next up, Rob. Rob didn't have a question, but I allowed it as an exception because I thought it would annoy you both. It's facts about coleslaw.
Rob, fuck you. I fucking hate you, Rob.
As a German speaker, I'm pretty sure that Kohl is from Kohl, Kohl, which means cabbage. But also the OED describes slaw as a salad made from sliced cabbage, so it might not be cabbage.
No, it's shit, depression, regret.
But also,
the
OED claims that the Kohl is actually just a slight shortening of the word cold, so it's coleslaw is cold cabbage.
Okay, so it just keeps getting fucking worse. Like, cabbage should only ever be consumed in incredibly minute quantities in dumplings or spring rolls. And to just sit there and go, let's make fucking cabbage and mayonnaise cereal and just fucking munch it is disgusting and should be fucking illegal. What people do with cabbage and mayonnaise is not illegal, but it fucking should be.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't like it, is what I'm saying.
I stand by your statements there. I stand by them.
Thank you.
Uncritical support for Snipe in this endeavour.
Stand with me.
Okay, Sour Titan.
Hello.
So, apologies.
Sorry, drummer Matt can't fucking read, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I'm the guy who asked Wib about the flying lizardman in one of the previous podcasts.
Okay.
And Snipe's response at being left out makes me wonder what she thinks about the lizardman faction.
I honestly forgot the moment I fucking said it. The moment I complained about being left out, I forgot.
Okay. Well, do you have any thoughts about lizardman? And I guess specifically, are there any changes you'd make to the line? And would you be more into it if it included long-necked skinks with normal-sized bodies?
That would be really cool.
What the fuck?
Oddly specific.
No, that's perfect. We need that, but we also need big mommy milkers and big wee-wees. Oh, we need barra lizard skinks. That's what we need. You know what?
Okay.
Then I'd be interested.
There is kind of big muscular Saurus warriors.
No, but all of them should be like that.
The Saurus warriors kind of are.
Yeah, but all of them should be like that.
Well, even the skinks.
Even the especially the skinks.
But they're like lithe and muscular.
Yeah, and they have long necks, apparently.
No, they don't. We're not talking about the long neck ones. I don't know why. This is wrong.
No, we're getting the long neck normal body ones, and they're going to be barra as fuck.
Why do they have to be some kind of fucking eldritch horror
Because
version?
I have been asked a direct question by this lovely individual, and I'm going to give them a goddamn answer. And that's my answer. Long neck, normal body, barra as fuck.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Ryan Warhart.
Hello.
Apparently, the question they have to ask me is in the subject line, or they've spelt it out backwards below. And seeing as I'm not going to read the subject line, but I can't be bothered to read it backwards, I'm just going to read it out for you backwards. So the question is, Es revenu ko4 et ni analf / arolf etirovaf yoi si tara.
Okay, I'm going to reply in actual backwards speech. Chiba Fanos. If you like, that is actually something said backwards. So feel free to
nice.
Play that backwards because
what I said wasn't backwards speak. It was just spelt backwards, so you can't even listen to it backwards.
Great, you failed in every fucking
don't know what that
hurdle.
question is.
Nice one.
Not going to read the subject line, and
Read
I'm
it.
not going to read any more of these going forward if anyone else sends something in like that, because I don't want it to become a thing.
You are such a petty little shit. You know that.
Their favourite type of corn is corn chowder, which I didn't know was a thing.
Corn chowder?
I've only ever heard of clam chowder, and that's only from jokes.
Corn chowder. I'm sorry, friend, but you need to be locked away. Like you
Mostly
need to
for
be
the
in
subject
jail.
line thing, but also this.
No, purely for corn chowder. That sounds like that's bad. They're excellent descriptive skills here on my part, and it's yucky.
Brandon.
Hello.
Their favourite type of corn. I forgot we asked this question. Their favourite type of corn was sweet corn. What is sweet corn?
Sweet corn is legit.
Their question: do you folks have any thoughts or opinions on Wizards of the Coast partnering with James Workshop to do a Magic the Gathering crossover with 40k?
I hate Magic the Gathering because it feels like EA as a card game. Because they really they nickel and dime you a lot, even for a hobby. Just general capitalism notwithstanding, it is kind of like I could get into it, but then I'd have to like basically just throw all my cards out and buy new things every time a new season comes out or whatever.
Yeah,
and I
like
just
a power
to play like competitively.
Yeah,
I've heard it's
and
like a real nightmare.
And I'm not really a massive fan of card games.
I've tried to play Magic the Gathering, and I just didn't get into it. It's one of those things that I appreciate people really like, but I struggle to have any kind of opinion on any part of it.
Yeah, and I think I can only really afford one ridiculously overpriced hobby. So, and I'm in there with Warhammer 40k, so you know I can't change now. I've spent too much money.
You're too deep into this hole now.
Oh, I'm deep.
I used to play it, but we only played it. We like bought one of the like starter decks and maybe a couple of booster pack things, but we didn't really like. All of us just basically had starter decks and not really much more else to it. But because we were playing against each other, it didn't, and it wasn't like overly competitive or anything.
Yeah,
it didn't really matter, so we could just enjoy it for what it was. And yeah, it's a very satisfying mix for me of all the like rules interacting with each other. It's like, oh yeah, but this rule means this rule means this, oh yeah, but technically we have to resolve this first and then this, and you have like all the things on a stack that resolve in a specific order, and all of that sort of stuff is very satisfying to me.
You know, you're not exactly selling it to me. That sounds suspiciously like maths, and I am not fucking tolerating it.
It's more like coding.
That's even
when you're doing
worse.
things in like a very, very logical order.
Okay, so when I was doing games dev, coding was literally the bane of my fucking existence. I would sit there with fucking, say, like, Flash open, trying to code shit, and it was the most soul-crushing and most depressing thing in the world, and I hate it. It's bad. It's maths that basically sits there and calls you a fucking moron all the time.
I mean,
see, I legit did computer programming at college, so...
a sadist.
So, yeah, I can confirm coding is awful. I hate it. I basically got, like... I passed my BTEC in computer programming, and then never touched programming again.
You know what's funny? There's always... In every fucking programming class, there's, like, that one guy. That one fucking guy who's just, like... He can just do it.
Oh, we had a few of them.
Oh my Christ!
Because it was a programming course, so we had a few of them. One of them was someone who was for a time one of the main guys coding the MAME emulator.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do that or how long they were in with the project, but yeah.
No, that's cool. But yeah, sorry, I'll stop going on a rant about how much I hate programming now.
Yeah, it's weird because I just couldn't get into Magic the Gathering yet. I thoroughly enjoy opening Pokemon cards, even if I never bother to play the game.
I love Pokemon cards, even though I never play it. I love collecting them; they're great.
And it's fundamentally the same thing. Like,
oh, it absolutely is. But I don't care about playing it. I just want to look at the cute like Pokemons.
I think that's it. Like I find there's something more appealing about like and instantly gratifying about adorable Pokemon.
Nostalgia vision there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like nostalgia
100%.
goggles really like if we'd have grown up with Magic the Gathering, we would have felt exactly the same about that.
I think that is very true. I mean, you know, I don't say, you know, at some point, because we've been talking about like doing more tabletop stuff on the channel.
I mean, I'd happily do some Magic the Gathering 40k stuff for the channel because I mean,
well, from what I understand, it's a handful of cards that are basically reskinned to be.
Like 40k.
Just have 40k art on them.
Well, you know what? The art is probably super fucking awesome because if there's one thing about 40k, the art is always very good.
It is weird that they decided to go with 40k rather than Age of Sigmar.
Because maybe they just wanted to change it up a little bit because like not many people comparatively play AOS as opposed to like 40k, so they probably just went for the biggest demographic.
Yeah, and of course Magic the Gathering did recently do like Godzilla cards as well. So,
that's pretty legit. Are they like those Pokemon cards that are just like A4?
No.
Because apparently you do use those in fights, and it's like, what, to hit a person with? Do you whack farts in their direction? Like, what the fuck?
I don't understand how the big Pokemon cards work. They're a thing that came in after I stopped paying attention to how the rules work. Thing.
It is literally a fucking thing, and I kind of want one because it's stupid.
They're like 4 times the size of a regular card.
They're fucking huge. And
how do you get them in a pack?
No, you get them in a fucking box. And you get like 1 or 2. You have to buy like a battle box.
Yeah, they come with either big sets or sometimes if there'll be like a special edition card that you get from like buying stuff from a certain place or whatever. You know,
okay.
Yeah, I don't understand how they work.
Yeah.
And if you
I do want one just purely for novelty, but it is too expensive to just get a pack of that just for novelty. So. But yeah.
Okay, next up, 6-foot alligator.
Hello, I love you, and one day I will own you. Not in a creepy way. I'm talking about the Flat Fuck Friday.
Look, someone did say, I can't remember if it was this person or one of the other ones, but someone did say that if you did buy that thing, you didn't really have to store it, you could hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah, but then it'd get really dusty.
I don't care. Like inviting a new member of the family into the home, I am willing to take him for walks. Can you fucking imagine a 30-year-old fucking person walking down the street with a 6-foot fucking alligator plushie? I'd give him like a little cute like collar, and I'd call him something like, I don't know.
Honestly, like
John Pascal Bernthal or something.
We're nearing the end of national lockdown number 3. When people get out of this lockdown, do you think anyone's going to be normal?
There's going to be dicks everywhere.
Everyone's going to, like, it's going to be fucking nonsense out there.
There's going to be a glory hole every 2 meters.
Like, just walking around with a big plushie is good. You're going to be king of normal town.
I remember when I bought Chernobog, I did get some looks, and I was like, bitch, you are jealous. Jealousy's a disease, get well soon, bitch.
Chernobog is like a 3-foot tall, plushy rabbit.
Yeah, he's fucking huge, and I love him, and I got him for my birthday, and he cost me a lot of money. Well, no, he cost me a 10 or less, because I picked, like, there was the last bunny in the shop.
Loyalty discount?
No, because he had, like, a little, like, dusty kind of like black smear on him, and I looked at it, and it was a risk I took, and I was like, you know what, I have some really good stain removal stuff at home, and I don't mind putting a bit of elbow grease in. So I went to like buy it, and I was like, hey, you don't have to have another one of these, do you? And the guy was like, no, we don't. I was like, could I be cheeky and ask for some money off? And he was like, yeah, go for it. Like, he was just like, yeah, fuck this company, I hate it here. And yeah, so I got him for like a good bit cheaper, and I was like, hee. And then I came home and I was like, honey, because like he was looking at his phone. I was like, honey, I got a birthday friend, and he literally just like, you know when someone's looking at the phone and their arms just go limp, and he was like, how big is it? And I pulled it out, and he went. He kind of looked at me for a moment, like really tired, and then just went.
Pulled him out from where?
Pulled him out of this gigantic fucking bag that the guy gave me. I pulled him out, and Wib was like, he is really cute. And I was like, I know! I tried to have a nap with him, but he was so fucking large, I just couldn't. It was great.
You'll get fucking smothered having one of those things while you try and sleep.
I sent a picture of him to Longfang, and Longfang just went, God fucking damn it. That was just his entire response.
Okay, 6-foot alligator. First up, to answer Snipe's question, the only corn I like is corn on the cob.
Good choice.
Yeah, that is a good choice. Although they say especially with gravy, which...
Oh, no, I only have it with butter. Because, you know, I'm basic, I guess.
Oh, straight off the barbecue. Oh. Okay. Secondly, the coleslaw community has felt this betrayal. Moving on to the question, before you get bogged down in the slaw.
Lost in the slaws.
What would your town names be? So, for context, town names consist of their cast and rank, their homeworld, and any other titles or names that they've earned. I guess I'd be Menial Earthed Bumblebee.
What was that again?
Menial Earthed Bumblebee.
No, I mean, like,
so your town name is your cast and rank, the homeworld, and then any titles or names that you've earned.
Okay, I guess mine would be like Anarchist Australian Wolf Witch.
Yeah.
Because fuck class systems.
I I fucking whatever.
You would be Big Dick Pirate Marmalade. I don't know.
No one has ever called me Marmalade.
My man.
I like how you don't disagree with the first bit.
I love that. He's like, oh, no one has ever called me Marmalade. Fair. Fair.
All right. Mikkel.
Hello.
So, question. If you could get your hands on a model that's no longer available, so Vostroyan Firstborn, for example, which one would it be and why?
I consider myself very lucky in that I have got a hold of most, in at least some form, of the models old models I really would like. One exception to that is I would like one of the old Mark I Terminators, the ones that everyone calls a Saturnine Terminator, but strictly speaking isn't one. The ones with the outrageously large shoulder pads, I would like to get a hold of one of those, but they're so upsettingly expensive. And the other one is is probably the one I would actually want the most, which is the Gorka Morka Head Honcho Grot. But they don't show up on eBay very often, and when they do, they're way too expensive for a single goblin. It's just a really nice like boss model for grots, and that would be a lovely addition to a grot rebellion.
It would be. I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of those Rogue Trader models. The one that I pointed out to you that I really liked.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember which one you were talking about. Was it? Oh, it was one of the old Chaos. Some of the old Chaos.
It was, yeah. It was one of the old Chaos ones.
One of the old Realm of Chaos era.
Yeah.
And Chaos Marines.
I can't remember which one, though. But yeah, that one. That helps. But yeah.
Yeah, there's some of those. I would also really love to get hold of the Orc Tin Boy that is shaped like a Space Marine, because there was basically a small series of robot models for orcs.
It's robot models.
That were imitating other factions. So there's like an Eldar one, a Squat one, and a Space Marine one. And the Space Marine one I fucking love. It's so weird and goofy.
That does sound pretty fun.
But again, they're very difficult to get hold of. Yeah. They don't appear very often on like secondhand things.
And when they do, they're very pricey.
When they do, they're pretty pricey. So yeah.
Yeah. Drummer, but what about you?
I'm not sure. I quite like the old Tau stealth suit things. Before they just looked like slightly beefier Fire Warriors. And I've got like 3 of them. But if I ever want to add more, I've got to have like bodge them together with the new ones, which are in like they're basically mini crisis suits. And I don't know, I prefer the look of the older ones. They just look more like sort of guerrilla sneaky type stealth, rather than just I'm in a big suit, but it's okay because I'll just have a stealth field,
just turn invisible.
I don't know, something. Yeah. I just prefer the sort of the smaller ones that they used to be.
I get you.
But I've only got 3 of them, and I don't know if I'll ever get more.
Yeah, cool question.
Second question is specifically for Snipe.
Yay!
If you had to choose, I feel like people like cotton onto you and yeah.
What do you mean cottoned on to me?
Yeah. If you had to choose between painting and fielding the actual model for Murderfang.
Oh, fuck off.
Or eat a whole Battenberg. But I only left this one in because they said which would it be and why, blah. I'm curious how you'll avoid answering the question in a roundabout way.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Fucking hell!
Saying people cotton onto you.
Am I really that? Like, I don't know. I don't really listen to myself when I talk, but am I really...
Yeah, we know.
Mate. I mean, it's true, but you shouldn't fucking say it. Well, you see, I remember eating Battenberg a long time ago. See, my father was a very big fan of marzipan, so he would have a lot of like marzipan, almonds and stuff. That explains a lot of things, let me fucking tell you. And like, I remember once I went, because I was just like, I have a bit of a sweet tooth, and you know, I'll go and eat this. I ate it, and it was soggy. Like, all the marzipan was fucking soggy, which made the actual sponge really soggy. So I actually will do neither of those things, because gross.
I mean, to be fair, you do have an actual Murderfang model.
I do, but no, they were saying that I should actually field him as Murderfang and paint him up with probably the terrible fucking face.
Yeah, but all you'd
hanging
have
out.
to do to change it from the one you actually run, because rules-wise, Murderfang's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, he very much is. But lore-wise, he's fucking silly.
You just have to paint that one face. That's all you'd have to do differently from what you're doing now.
Yeah, I'll do that then. And they didn't say I had to field it forever, so I'll just field it for one turn.
You
Deliberately
magnetize the front section so you can
magnetize
pull
that
it off.
part, and then just basically just suicide walk him into and just be like, no, I think I'm just going to go here and not fire any weapons and not use any weapons. This is fine. So yeah, I'll do that because Battenberg is fucking gross and I hate it. And haha, I did answer the question, you cheeky little shit.
I mean, you tried to get out of it.
No, I thought I played a type for a bit, but I was going to answer. But yeah. I like questions specifically for me, but when they read me to fucking filth, it's a little bit shocking. Fuck.
This next one is from the worst username, the sentient hair.
Okay, that is
it just conjures too many images.
No, that's fan-fucking-tastic. I love that. Get out of my soup, you sentient hair.
No, I live here now.
After listening to last week's episode, all I can think is clangers versus wombles in all-out war, blood bowl, and competitive line dance. Who wins best 2 out of 3?
Was it clangers versus wombles?
Clangers versus wombles. So first up we've got all-out war.
Yeah. I say clangers win everything because wombles are shit.
I can't... How big are clangers? Because, wombles are
Not... Okay. They're, fucking made of metal. They, eat...
Clangers aren't made of metal.
I was thinking of the mashed potato robots that live on the moon.
You're thinking of the robots from the 70s advert for the instant mashed potato smash?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see how you get those confused.
What are clangers then?
Clangers are weird little pink mice things
What
that
the
live on the
fuck?
moon.
That's a stupid name!
And communicate via slide whistle.
I thought they were the mashed potato robots from the 70s. That makes so much more sense that they would be called clangers.
I don't know if it's worse that you said that or that Wib just knew exactly what you were talking about.
Dude, he lives with me. He's the translator.
Fucking hell.
I am shook. I thought they were called clangers.
No!
What are they called?
They're called the Smash Robots. They probably don't have a canonical name because they're an advert. They don't need a canon.
I thought they existed beforehand.
No.
Okay, so what's Fraggle Rock?
Fraggle Rock is an absolutely adorable Jim Henson thing.
Okay, so it's got nothing to do with the mashed potato robot.
No, we watched some Fraggle Rock. You were several years ago. You were feeling really depressed, and I found some Fraggle Rock, and we watched Fraggle Rock together, and it made you feel better.
Oh, now I remember. They were lovely. Yeah.
Because they're little Muppets, and they're lovely.
Yeah. Okay, but what in the fuck are clangers then? Why are they
In
called
very
clangers
broadly
if they're
speaking,
not
they're pink
robots?
wombles.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pull up an image now so you can look at a clanger.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay, that's kind of cute.
They're little wool mice.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, apparently there's a joint US-Soviet space program to do with the clangers.
This is Google Images, so the things you see may or may not be from the real show.
Is that one wearing a bulletproof vest?
They're all wearing bulletproof vests.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, no, I put money on the clangers. They're gonna win against the Wombles because not only do they live on the moon.
Well, you've got the 3 things to win. So we've got all-out war, blood bowl,
I think clangers
and competitive line dance.
Okay, I'd say the Wombles would win at the lamest part, so they'd win at the line dancing. Is competitive line dancing a thing?
I mean, probably somewhere.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I'm so sorry that I got them confused with the fucking mashed potato robots.
Yeah, but you want to know the thing that will really mess you up? They're friends with this thing that's called the Soup Dragon. He is the dragon of soup.
I'm getting Gumby flashbacks, which I tried to watch, modern day, and it is so unsettling. I don't know why, it's really scary. But yeah, no, I vote on clangers for the first two, and then wombles for the last one because they suck.
So
overall, the exact opposite of that, because I feel like wombles could just turn around and do that. You know, when you get seen like a cartoon or whatever, and like an animal goes from like sweet and happy to like, and the teeth come out. I reckon
they just go fucking feral.
And the clang, yeah, exactly. And the clangers are just pink soft things, so the wombles are just like ripping them apart.
Well, wombles are just soft things.
Yeah, but with big teeth, probably.
But so
there is no
might have big teeth.
I do not believe there is a confirmation that either of these species possess a traditional mouth. What we perceive as a nose may in fact be some kind of proboscis that they're just like a tongue emanates out the end of it and sups up whatever sustenance they require.
Or maybe that's a tertiary eye.
It could be. What we think of as being their eyes may not be eyes. They may be like a distraction thing for predators.
Where the clangers are going, they don't need eyes.
That's very true. They have eyes on the inside.
They do.
Oof. Okay, so wrapping up.
Hope that answers your question, friend.
Penultimate question. Or thing that I'm going to mention.
Okay.
Wayne, or as I typed it out, Wabe, because I put a B into an N.
Hey, Wabe.
Hello, Wabe.
Their favourite corn is corn cheese, apparently, which is made of sweet corn and mozzarella.
Huh.
Which is either going to be amazing or terrible. I'm probably amazing, but...
I think I'd just rather eat both of those things just on their own. But that's just me. But yeah, sure. I mean, if that's what... if Wabe wants what they want.
Yep. And then the very last thing, which we're going to end the podcast on.
Oh, no.
Multiple people emailed in to ask why Snipe is so powerful and such a sexual being. With no explanation, apart from one person mentioned a stream in passing, so I'm assuming it's something that you did.
One person is a fucking traitor.
One person is a narc.
One person is a fucking narc. And yeah, I was streaming yesterday with Longfang, and I was like, oh, we're recording the podcast tomorrow. And I'd had a drink, so I was like, hey, everyone, send an email to Drummer Matt about how powerful and sexually potent I am. I forgot about that until now.
I hadn't. I was waiting for this.
Well, honestly, it made my fucking day.
Like I think I was painting or something. I was just sitting there in the corner, and then I hear you saying, "Everyone email into the podcast." And my ears perk up. I'm like, "Oh God, what's she gonna say?"
But to answer your questions, lovely listeners, that's just how I do. It's because I'm very close friends with all the celebrities I like. And they respect and love me. And are constantly asking me to marry them. I'm like, no, I'm with the perfect man.
And they only don't respond to your DMs and block you and report you to the police because they're afraid of the love.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did starstruck Pedro Pascal.
Is that what you call clock him over the head with a blackjack?
Oh my God, I would never hit Pedro Pascal unless he asked me to. I hope he asks me to.
Okay, let's dial back on this. This is too much.
That's fair. That's fair. But yes, that's the end of the podcast, I guess. Thank you to everyone apart from that one fucking narc who ratted me out. Fucking grass.
So it's mad. Okay. I won't say who that is. So you'll never know.
Yeah, you will. You'll tell me.
No, he won't tell you because Matt isn't a grass.
Yeah, he's not a fucking shit bitch for twats. I don't know. I'm just saying rude words.
You are just saying rude words.
Because I feel so betrayed. Oh, I'm heartbroken. You know what? I'm going to be streaming with Longfang after this podcast, so I'm going to go and I'm going to demand answers. Be like, listen here, motherfuckers. And then I'm going to put you in the boo box.
The boob ox.
The boo box.
What is a boo box?
It's the incredibly adult and emotionally scarring punishment that Glenn Close, dressed up as a male pirate in the movie Hook, suffers for being the only pirate on the crew to vote against the fact that Hook was going to go and steal Peter Pan's children. So they shove him in a very small crate and they throw scorpions in there and shout boo. The boo box.
Okay.
That fucking scarred
me. See, I just heard it as boob ox.
Yeah, it's just a big square boob that just sits in your living room and is like, it won't wash the laundry. It won't do fucking anything.
Ox, as in like
I was thinking of a very
cow thing.
I was thinking of a very well endowed in the chess department ox.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really chest. It's like the lower.
No, this one
chest.
is. This one is.
So this one's got just like a pair of.
It's an anthropomorphic kind of thing, you know.
Oh, is it upright? Is it
It's
walking upright?
Yeah, it's upright.
Okay.
If anyone wants to draw us a boob box.
A boob ox. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel at that point we're commissioning like furry porn, and
I don't think we could afford.
we couldn't afford.
We couldn't afford furry porn. Prices.
Those artists, they
make bank, and you know what? They're probably some of the only people in the world who actually profits correctly off art. I'm gonna be honest. Like you fucking give an artist like just a living wage or a minimum wage. Jesus Christ.
But I do feel that commissioning erotica is probably over a line for what a podcast should do.
Well, I might do that then.
If you wish to do that on your own time, then more power to you.
Yeah. Also, I was
I
thinking
have
about
no bad feelings towards the furry community. They know how to deal with Nazis.
No,
fair play to them.
honestly, furries are great. Love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually have been thinking about trying to get us a sponsor for the podcast.
Okay. I'm braced. Okay, let's see what you got. Let's see where you're going with this.
No, that's all I got. I was just thinking, like, I'm probably going to email a few people, a few companies, and be like, "Hey, I run a podcast that is really good and powerfully erotic. Please send me some Doritos, and we'll mention you."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's weird with that?
Because the way you chose to segue into that, I assumed you were going to like.
Huh?
You're going to be like, oh no, we're definitely. I'm going to repeatedly email adamandeve.com.
No.
And try and get a podcast sponsored. We have. I mean, I don't know. We don't tend to get the podcast emails very often, so I don't know. I think I've asked this before, like about how many sponsorship things.
We got one email from a company that was like basically a porn site asking for us to go and join, and that was basically the only spam email we've got for ages.
They just wanted us to go and like they wanted us to like do porn for them, or they wanted us to just go look at some porn.
it was like a Chatterbait type equivalent website.
Okay, that's kind of boring.
Yeah,
sure.
I know, it's disappointing.
Yeah, part of me, I'm not like, rushing to get the podcast sponsored, but if a funny enough sponsor showed up, I would be tempted.
If anyone's interested in who spammed us,
why do you give?
Don't give them free advertising.
No, make a note of that timestamp.
Okay.
I am bleeping them out. They are not getting airtime for fucking spamming people.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck you, pay me. Send me my fucking Doritos.
We will say your name on air if you give us.
I want some
money,
lightly salted tortilla chips.
Can we get sponsored by the concept of lightly salted tortilla chips?
I hope so. I fucking love lightly salted tortilla chips.
they are excellent.
There is something broken in our brains that, like, we can't say tortilla chips. Both of us do it. We always say lightly salted tortilla chips.
If you get like flavored like Doritos or tortilla chips or whatever, like but other flavors, are they like chili flavored lightly salted tortilla chips?
No, they're just cheese flavor Doritos or like ranch Doritos.
I guess because you don't get ones that are of other brands other than Doritos, but when you
I do really like Doritos lightly salted tortilla chips, but like I can quite happily eat like own brand lightly salted tortilla chips.
The Aldi ones are great.
They are actually.
They're like 12p a pack or something ludicrous. I can't remember.
No, they're like 30p for like a full pack of lightly salted tortilla chips, and they are quite nice. They've got that kind of lovely thing of like, you know, when you're eating lightly salted tortilla chips and you eat them, and it kind of like the flavor builds a bit and it's kind of buttery. I really dig that. That's I honestly, that is the making or breaking of a great lightly salted tortilla chip.
Email in with your favourite dips for lightly salted tortilla chips.
Yes, and lightly salted tortilla chips only, please. We do not tolerate Cool Ranch here. I mean, I do. But, they're no lightly salted tortilla chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, this is what... When someone was asking earlier about, is Snipe just like this?
No, is Snipe okay?
Yeah.
I think that they were asking in a roundabout ways, like, have I received head trauma? Which, yes. But that's not why I'm like this.
But that is a separate story.
That's a separate issue entirely.
Is this podcast over now?
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
please.
Hi, thank you everybody for joining in, and I look forward to hearing what your favourite dip to pair with lightly salted tortilla chips is. Bye!
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.